Hey, what is good, fam? It's Kyle Henderson of BAMAinsider.com. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on the BAMAinsider.com call-in show. Update the phone book, 205-850-0883. I'll take your calls tonight. We got Tyler back in the booth taking your calls, so definitely call in, and I'll get your questions regarding Alabama Crimson Tide football. I think overall, it's finally that time. It's finally our chance to see what this team is capable of. I mean, there's been so much preseason hype on the Alabama Crimson Tide with all the guys coming back on the offensive side of the ball. And I think as we've continued to discuss, I mean, a lot of it is going to be on the defensive improvements going into this season. Obviously, that has been the weak spot for this program over the last couple years. And I want to get your take on that. So give me a call tonight. 205-850-0883. Remember, all super chats tonight go to the host, Kyle Henderson. So I appreciate it. Bombs already doing work on the show and appreciate it. Hey, Bombs, I got something special for you too, as the super chat. Thank you. You're just climbing the boards, and recently a new addition into the Club 100. But I updated our super chat Hall of Honor. And here you go. So, Bombs, I got you a couple of emojicons on there as you jumped into Club 100. Randall Williams up at the top, 175. Tony Hill, 125. Super chats tonight. Come to the host. And if you can't super chat, hey, a simple thumbs up certainly goes a long way, and we appreciate it. Can't forget about the Loyalty Club. Hit the join button at the bottom of this video. Touchdown Club, Loyalty Club on the right. Everybody, we appreciate all the support right here on BAMAinsider.com. Wanted to open up the show and really extend our thoughts and prayers for the people of Southern Alabama. I know it's such a beautiful part of the country, and I know Hurricane Sally has done a lot of damage in that particular area. And, our thoughts and prayers are with you tonight. So I will definitely take your calls, and I think we have our first call of the night coming in just a second, and we'll take that in just a minute. But post your questions. You can also post your questions in the comment box. Big week, Alabama and Missouri next Saturday. Finally got some football, and I got some special news coming your way regarding our coverage next week, which I'm really excited about. We'll have something for you guys. And I'm eager to finally get into this football season. I think there's been so much about this team. How good is this team going to be? And I think it all revolves around, there's so much talk about the offensive play, right? Is Mac Jones, how good is he going to be this coming season? What should we expect, from Bryce Young going into this season? And let's take our first call of the night, and we'll get to it. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from? Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hunter from Alabama.
Hey, what's up, Hunter? Appreciate you calling in. Hey, can you turn down your audio in the background, please?
Yeah, give me just a second.
All right, go ahead, bud.
There we go.
All right, Hunter.
Hey,
go ahead.
Have you heard anything about Chris Braswell? I haven't heard much about him, and I don't know how he's progressing in the program. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I think when you look at the outside linebackers, you have several very talented freshman linebackers that are within that category. Obviously, we've all heard about the progress that William Anderson has been making this fall training camp, and he's, really even exceeded my expectations. I mean, from what I gathered this past Saturday, he had a fantastic performance, and really is the guy to come off the bench probably first after Chris Allen and Ben Davis. I think when you look at Drew Sanders, he's another guy that's very talented. I heard he was actually getting reps at that inside linebacker position, which is very interesting to think about. And then you also have other guys, Chris Braswell, DeMoy Kennedy, coming along, and I've heard good things about Braswell. I think Alabama sent us a couple photos of him earlier today. So when I talk about these freshmen, and you don't hear a lot of waves about these freshmen, I mean, don't write these guys off just yet. I mean, it's going to take some time for these guys to get acclimated. Even some of the guys who we're talking about in fall training camp. I mean, how good are they going to be in game-like situations? I think that's something that is yet to be said for all of these guys, including William Anderson, who's probably the freshman MVP early on. So heard good things about Braswell, not as much as some of those other guys, but that's nothing bad to be worried about. What else you got, Hunter? Appreciate it.
Well, I watched, I was able to see DeMoy Kennedy play while he was in high school. And I thought even in high school, even though he's a very talented player, I thought he needed some more development. And I thought with him getting to Alabama and playing against those guys, kind of iron sharpening iron there, would help. Another question I got: do you think Mechie will be behind Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle at the wide receiver position, or do you see a guy like Xavier Williams stepping into that other spot?
No. I think when you look at the wide receivers, I think the first three are absolutely set. So you have Devontae Smith, you have Jalen Waddle, and I think you have John Mechie. I mean, those are your first three wide receivers. And I think from there on, you're going to have, that fourth wide receiver position. We've talked about it, and I think it could be Javon Baker. I think it could be Xavier Williams. I think it could be Slade Bolden. I think a lot of those guys have what it takes to get onto the field this particular year. I'm curious to see how Alabama uses Jahlil Billingsley. He's a tight end, kind of used as a hybrid type player, and I think he's going to be very productive. I know he had a good scrimmage performance this past Saturday. I believe he caught a touchdown. But I think that fourth wide receiver is the part that you should be kind of more curious about as we go into the season. There's Xavier Williams. He actually wears number 3 right now. Just notate that. He was number 9 last year. I think he's very talented, but any of those guys can really step up. But I think the first 3 really set at the wide receiver position. Can't even imagine how good Patrick Surtain should be right on the defensive side of the ball, having to do with Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and John Mechie all fall training camp. Anything else, Hunter?
Well, let me say this. I remember the Duke game in the opening game last year. Jahlil Billingsley got to play for like 3 series in a row, like three plays in a row. And something that jumped off the page to me is watching him play was that he got one play to where he got the ball in open space, and he's surprisingly fast for a guy his size. I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of them, but I think he has some really good potential to be the next Irv Smith or O.J. Howard. I think he needs a little bit more development maybe, but in that game he seemed to be a pretty fast kid.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, when you look at a player like Jahlil Billingsley, you're going to get some B-roll of him just in a second. So you have your upperclassmen tight ends. You got Miller Forrestall, you got Major Tennyson. This is some old B-roll. Obviously, you don't forget about Cameron Latou right there, number 81. He's had an exceptional fall training camp. But Billingsley right there, number 19, I think he can be used as a hybrid type, a guy that can be even split out on the wide receiver front just because of his size. 6'5", probably 230 pounds. So he's not a bigger tight end, and I think he can get molded into a bigger tight end. Here he is again, number 19. But I think he has exceptional hands, and I think he's a guy that Alabama could certainly utilize. Hunter, we're going to run to our next call, but thank you so much, and we appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we got our next caller, Christian from Florida, wants to talk about the quarterback situation. Hey, Christian, thank you very much. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Appreciate it. How's you staying safe in Florida?
Yes, sir. First off, roll tide to you and everything. I'm really looking forward to this football season. And, I did want to talk about the quarterback situation. I mean, I think everyone, and I'll bring this up. 2 things I think I'm looking for Alabama this year. First off, obviously the quarterback battle between the 5-star freshman phenom guy and Bryce Young, who has a lot of potential, obviously, and Mac Jones. And then I'm also looking to see how the defense improves, considering they played with a lot of young guys last year. It has to get better, in my opinion. But, getting to that quarterback situation, I like what I've seen from Bryce Young in practice. I like what I've seen from Mac Jones in practice. Of course, you guys are always putting up footage and everything. Here's how I feel about it, though. I want to see Bryce Young be a freshman and light it up in college football for Alabama and everything. But, man, Mac Jones, I think, is deserving of the opportunity to be the starter for Alabama. This is a quarterback who sat behind Tua Tagovailoa. This is a quarterback that sat behind Jalen Hurts. These are 2 really good quarterbacks that have a lot of potential in the NFL. And you saw what he did against Auburn. I don't care if Bama lost that game or not. It wasn't because of Mac Jones. It was because of the defense. And, look at how great Auburn's defensive line was with Marlon Davidson and Derek Brown. Mac Jones proved himself and handled those guys pretty well. He put 45 points up. I mean, he put up 2 numbers on a really good Auburn defense. And I like what I've seen and, have read about these guys and practice this offseason. And I really think that Mac Jones has a lot of great potential in him. And I really think that, from my understanding, the team trusts him, the receivers and running backs like Mac Jones. And, I really think he's the guy that could win us the title this year.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm glad everyone is safe. And I think I've been getting some feedback in the comment box. It looks like the stream might be cutting out for some people. I'm not sure if that's because of the weather. I hope that the stream is coming in good for everybody. I know that, depending on the weather, people could be experiencing different things. I'm glad you're safe, Christian. As we look at the quarterback situation, I think you bring up some great points regarding the quarterback situation. And I think a lot of people want to somehow create a quarterback controversy, right? They're kind of reverting back to when you had Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think that's the case at all this year. I think the situation is clear. You have Mac Jones, who's the clear veteran, the guy who did a fantastic job in a very difficult situation last year with Tua Tagovailoa suffering the injury. I thought when he came in, he showed guts, he showed moxie, he showed a lot of character, and he showed a lot of strength. I mean, talk about that Auburn defense was ferocious, right? Wasn't there a game? That was the game where he chipped a tooth. And what happens when they crushed him on the sideline, popped right back up. So I'm not sure why there's a camp that's not excited about him coming back. I think a lot of people get fixated on the fact that, Auburn beat Alabama and they kind of point the blame to him. I mean, where you could point the blame to a lot of people, including Nick Saban, right? Last year, I think, that was just a difficult game, and it's always going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a difficult game this year. And I think when you have Mac Jones coming back, I think he displays some leadership, and he's not a perfect quarterback by any means, but I think with any of these quarterbacks, it's almost like a plug and play. I mean, you look at the offensive line, very talented. You look at the wide receivers, best wide receivers in the country. You look at Najee Harris. He's calling it the campaign season. That's not just a metaphor. I mean, he's trying to literally win the Heisman Trophy this year. He's trying,
that's another thing too is Najee Harris coming back, because look at what Tua did. I mean, and you can't blame him. I mean, you had Ruggs, you had Jerry Jeudy. Najee got some playing time, but he didn't get the time he wanted to. And he's saying, I need to run the football more, and I need to have, my time with my team. And, so, I mean, I also think that we can maybe see Alabama get back to running the football more this year too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I would agree with you. I wanted to talk about Bryce Young real quick. I mean, everything that we've heard from him, I mean, yeah, you're right. He is a freshman. I think coming in, especially with no spring game, I mean, it's really been remarkable to see that the progress that he has made. Of course, nobody has seen him besides the coaches and, the people who that have been able to see the scrimmage. But everything that we gather, he's doing a great job. And I think he's going to absolutely be game ready against Missouri. He's going to play in that game. I think when I was during the summertime, I was kind of skeptical about if he would play, how many freshmen would play. But I think what's happened during this long fall training camp is it's allowed everybody, a good amount of time, nearly 3 weeks of practice going against the Alabama 1s, going against the Alabama 2s to get ready for an SEC conference game. I think the SEC schedule is going to be an absolute grind for everybody. But I think Alabama has enough depth to really get past this gauntlet of a schedule. I can't wait to see Alabama playing the top competition every single week. I think Bryce Young, he's going to be a freshman. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to wow you. He's going to be that guy that everybody is quickly to fall in love with. And I think with his escapability and his ability to extend plays and, having that magic, I think he's going to shine when it comes his time. But I think Alabama fans should know that the offense will be just fine with Mac Jones taking controls in week 1. What else you got, Christian?
That's pretty much it, man. Just looking forward to the season. Thank you for taking my call. And real quick, roll Tide, roll.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. Stay safe. All right, we're going to move to our next caller. We got Michael from Virginia. And he also wants to talk about the quarterback situation, and we're going to bring him on right now. Hey, Michael, appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling. Hope you're doing well in Virginia tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it. Yeah, so my main question is about the running back, but real quick, talking about what Christian was talking about there for a second. He's talking about how he thinks Mac Jones, he has the backup, the experience. He played behind really good quarterbacks in a good system. So my one question for you real quick, not my main question, just a small question. Do you think, I kind of feel like Mac Jones may not have that it factor. If you look back to the great quarterbacks of college football, maybe like Johnny Manziel during his prime, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, even Tua, for instance, they have that it factor where it's like it's not something you can see. It's not a stat. It's not like an ability. It's not quickness, not agility, not throw power. It's just they in clutch situations and need like diehard situations, they execute and do it flawlessly. I think Mac Jones kind of had that and kind of was the downfall right there. I mean, if you look at the Auburn game, for instance, yes, he did well. And yes, I think it was mainly our defense's fault. But what about the situations where he threw two pick sixes where, let's be honest, they were both his fault pretty much. I mean, maybe one of them you could say was maybe not, but one of them was just, and yes, he played good, but he still had a ton of mistakes. Do you think that he may lack that it factor? Or do you think it's just maybe he has it, but he hasn't seen it yet? What do you think about that?
I think that's a great question, and that's something that I'm curious to see. And he'll have an opportunity to do that here pretty soon, because I think a lot of people are asking that question. I'm glad you brought it up. Like, does he have the it factor? Can this guy get the job done when the lights are on against another high quality opponent? Against Auburn, that was his time to prove that. And I think a lot of people want to point the blame at Mac Jones. Again, I don't think that's the right thing to do. But I'm with you. Like, does he have it? Does he have enough ability to really get the job done? And he can prove that early on in the season, because look who Alabama has. They got Texas A&M. They got Georgia. They got Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin has some tricks up his sleeve. I think that with Mac Jones, people are going to ask that all season long, but, this is his team. And I'm kind of in the camp to where, how can he fail with the offensive firepower that he has? How can he fail with Alex Leatherwood at tackle, with Evan Neal at tackle, with Landon Dickerson at center? I mean, the line that he has, Najee Harris in the backfield. I mean, I'm serious. Like, any of these quarterbacks, I feel, could get the job done. When you look at that Auburn game, it seems like we're going to talk about that until there's another game going on. He didn't, in my opinion, that first pick that he threw, he was underthrown, and that, in my opinion, that was because of lack of arm strength. Kind of coasted it in, and it was a pick six. The other one, I mean, you have, what was it, 1st and goal, and you're feeding Najee Harris at the 1, and you decide to throw some sort of a rollout or whatever it was, and it was a pick six, bounce off Najee. I don't know if that was necessarily on him, but we'll see if he has the it factor and if he can get it done. And I think that, Bryce Young is certainly going to have that opportunity as well to prove if he can get it done. I can't wait to see this young man play, and I'm talking about Bryce. This is an opportunity for him to really shine in that first SEC game. I'm curious to see how much he gets playing time. What else is on your mind, Michael? Appreciate it.
Yeah, so one thing that I think no one's really talked about, I know you mentioned sometimes, but Jason McClellan, I think that's how you pronounce his name, out of Texas. I mean, he's a 4-star guy, but I mean, I saw them win the state title there. I think it was 6A or 5A. But the one thing is, everyone talks about Najee, of course, the main guy, right, going for the Heisman. Then you have Brian Robertson Jr., who's that reliable number 2. He gets those yards. And then, of course, the big name from last year who got injured was Trey Sanders, right? What do you think about Jason McClellan? I mean, I've watched his highlights. I know you've probably done, you watch all that stuff. You see him in practice and whatnot. I mean, he's a big back. He's like, 6 foot, 215 or something like that. And I mean, if you watch the dude's highlights, he's a menace on the field. He's almost like Najee Harris in the California highlights. I mean, the dude just took over games. He was explosive. He was fast. And no one really seems to talk about him. And one thing I'm kind of worried about is being behind so many good backs. Maybe he transfers. Maybe he doesn't get enough playing time, because he's a star back who I think could, in maybe 2 years, maybe take over this offense kind of like Najee did. What are your thoughts on him and, what his current situation is, being almost like, 4th string in this stacked backfield?
Yeah, I think it's something to look at. I mean, Alabama, as you said, has certainly such a stacked running back room. I mean, you have Najee Harris pushing for the Heisman Trophy. You have Brian Robinson, the running back nobody wants to talk about, right out of Hillcrest here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, who looks absolutely shredded. You have Trey Sanders, a 5-star. Everything that we've heard from him from fall training camp has just been, this guy is the guy. And then you also have Roydell Williams, you have Kyle Edwards, and then Jace McClellan. I think with Jace McClellan, I think with Edwards, and I think with Roydell Williams, all those freshmen are going to be the next guys in line. I mean, I can't even imagine, next year, because those guys are going to get a lot of PT. Now, this Saturday, a lot of those freshmen, especially Jace McClellan, a guy you were talking about, got playing time this Saturday, and all those freshmen did quite well. I think one of the things about Jace McClellan that I'm really excited about is his ability to catch the football out of the backfield. That's going to really, just kind of transition into Steve Sarkisian's game plan, because he likes to float the football out to Najee Harris, as you saw last year. And I think Jace McClellan could certainly do that. He has a lot of quick twitch that I like. With Roydell Williams, I hear he's very comparable to Trey Sanders. And I think that's an absolute big compliment. And then, Kyle Edwards, I mean, the dude is completely yoked. So all those guys, when we look down the pipe, certainly going to be exciting to watch moving forward. But I think those guys will get on the field. I don't know how much. But Najee Harris, certainly your guy going in to this season. Anything else before I let you go, Michael?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, Kyle.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. That was Michael from Virginia. Appreciate it. All right. Call in line is open, and good calls tonight. 205-850-0883. Update your phone book, please. New call in line number. All right. What's up, Brandon? Appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Hey, all super chats tonight come to the host, Kyle Henderson. We appreciate what you guys do for us right here on our YouTube channel, inching closer towards 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Never thought that our channel would get this big, but I think that the staff has done an amazing job here at BamaInsider.com. And thank you very much for joining us during last night's recruiting show with Andrew Bone. He does such a great job. So are we going to get any special teams player recruits? Brandon, I mean, that would probably be a question from Mr. Andrew Bone. I think when you look at special teams, what we do know this year is that you have Will Reichard coming back. And I think Will Reichard is going to be that guy that Alabama fans can rest easy. And maybe that's not even true, because Alabama's kicking game has always made fans skeptical, right, about the possibilities. But Will Reichard played in 5 games last season as a freshman, and he's a sophomore this year. You also have Joseph Bolovic. So in terms of getting actual special teams guys, I don't know if there's going to be a specific player that Alabama brings on, but I do feel that they are very comfortable with Will Reichard. Heard he was 4 of 5 this last scrimmage, missing from, I think it was like 55 yards out or something like that. So thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Kind of going through the comments, and there's a lot of stuff that I need to go through. And the call line is open, by the way, 205-850-0883. How about some? I mean, I know it's early, and maybe we shouldn't even do this yet, but how about in the comment box, post some Missouri, Alabama game predictions. I want to see some scores coming in. I think when we talked about early lines, I think Alabama probably favored by 24.5 or something like that. And I've been saying that going on. I think that Alabama is certainly going to be the big favorite in that particular game. I would probably say a 4-touchdown favorite would be comfortable. I think when you look at the SEC slate overall, and I think I have a graphic of that overall SEC schedule, I think there's going to be a lot of particular mismatches in week 1. I get it. There's Zach. This is the best prediction yet, right? 99-6, Alabama 96. Bombs 42-9. Jackie White. Okay, that sounds reasonable. 47-10. Those are good. We got another caller coming in, and we will take that call right now. All right. Hello, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Q from Brooklyn.
Hey, Q, what's up, man? Good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in quite some time.
Good to hear from you, too. Yeah, time no hear from. How you doing? Hope all is well.
Yeah, hope all is well. It kind of sounds like you're a little bit echoey. It sounds like you might be coming from like another dimension. I mean, I don't hate the sound, but it's good to hear from you. Go ahead, Q.
How you doing? I just want to have put my voice out there, tell them it's going to be a great year from us, even though this COVID-19 has been a problem. We're still going to roll on. Keep rolling till the sun come down.
All right. Well, hey Q, you know what? I'm going to let you go because the audio quality isn't the best. But please, before you go, will you send out some blessings to everybody like you usually do on our show?
Right. You already know. God bless America. God bless the President of the United States. Trump 2020. God bless Nick Saban. God bless the Christian Tide. God bless us. God bless me. God bless you. God bless. Maybe live through COVID-19 and maybe see more.
All right. Thank you so much, Q. Talk next time, buddy. All right. That was Q from Brooklyn, one of our favorite callers calling in. I think, he said it right? Always sending out the blessings. All right. I think Josh Jacobs kind of changed the running back game the backfield. I think when you look at, I appreciate the comments. So Josh Jacobs, I mean, how about the performance that he had for the Raiders, right? Still trying to get used to saying the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they play on Monday night here pretty soon. By the way, those guys, I mean, him and Henry Ruggs, right? Talking about built by Bama. I think Josh Jacobs, what do you have, like 3 touchdowns in the opener? It was interesting to see that how Alabama used Josh Jacobs. And I think now when you look at the running backs at Alabama, I think they can do the same thing. They could sprinkle out the ball to a lot of these running backs, and I think they could do a good job distributing the football to a lot of these guys, right? You got Najee, you got Brian Robinson. I'm curious to see how much, playing time and what situations Brian Robinson is using. I think he's going to be effective, in my opinion. And then, of course, you got Trey Sanders. So my point being, getting back to Josh Jacobs, is I think you can be creative with not overusing Najee Harris, still getting him his production. And I think you can sprinkle in those other guys to keep Najee fresh. And then, as we talked about earlier, you got to use, those freshmen. You got to get their feet wet. And I think what's going to be really interesting is the fact that Alabama and all these guys in college football are getting a waiver year. So that means, there's the graphic right up on the screen. 25 rushes, 93 yards, 4 receptions, 46 yards, 139 total yards with 3 touchdowns. My goodness. Talk about a beast of game. And that's in the NFL, fam, right? That's in the NFL. But I think you can get creative with, using these running backs and still get Najee his. Because let's face it, Najee Harris certainly going for the campaign, a.k.a. the Heisman Trophy. Call line is open 205-850-0883. Please update your phone book. Recently changed it out to new call line. So, all right, Brandon with a score prediction: Alabama 42, Missouri 10. I'll ask you guys about another score prediction next week, and we'll have some sort of contest or something like that. And then I got some special stuff planned for you next week, so stay tuned as we enter game week. Let's see. I think we have. All right. Hey, prayers your way out in. If you're in, Florida, Southern Alabama, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Hey, Kyle, watching from Pensacola, trying to recover from the hurricane beating we took today. Hope everything is better up in T-Town. Yeah, the temperature dropped. If anything, I mean, it was 70 degrees today. Got the workout in. And I get it. I mean, from everyone that I talked to in Southern Alabama, I mean, and in Florida, I mean, it was bad. I mean, the photos coming in, been to the Hangout Festival and saw that the damage that it did down there. So I know there's a lot of people going through some tough times. So, thoughts and prayers certainly down with you guys as you go through this hard time. And, it's tough. I mean, those hurricanes and the weather over here, just in general. If you don't know, I'm from New Mexico, been here almost 5 years in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a place that I love very much. Clearly, we don't get the weather in New Mexico that you get in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So always interesting to, run into the weather. Call line is open, 205-850-0883. While we wait for our next call, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to show you how to get 30 days of BamaInsider.com, and then I will be right back on BamaInsider.com. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. This is how to get free 30 days on BamaInsider.com. First thing you got to do, go to BamaInsider.com and click on the top banner. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create an account, email, username, password. The second thing you're going to do is confirm your subscription. Make sure that the promo code is entered right here. It says promo successful, roll tide. The third thing you're going to do is enter your credit card information. It has to be valid, and don't worry, you're going to get that 30 days free. As you can see, once you've added a credit card, you're going to get the promo code. As you can see right here, it says $0. After that, you got to make sure and cancel within that 30 days if you don't want to be charged that $9.95. But hopefully, you're happy with all the coverage on BamaInsider.com, so you won't need to cancel. Once you're a premium subscriber of BamaInsider.com, you can access Andrew Bones' recruiting board. You can jump on the Talk of Champions message board and have a great time with thousands of Alabama Crimson Tide football fans. We hope to earn your business at BamaInsider.com. Hey, so there you go. You can join BamaInsider.com for free. 30 days. Promo code is simply Roll Tide. Before I get to Baum's question, I know a lot of people ask me, they're like, what is a super chat? Basically, a super chat is a tip. So, if you want to tip, all super chats go to the host tonight, which is me, Kyle Henderson. You hit the dollar icon right there. And then, anything helps. But, most importantly, a thumbs up, really does a trick right here at BamaInsider.com. We know you guys have options when it comes to Alabama Crimson Tide football coverage, but we want to be the best. And, it's always a grind. Before I get to bomb, so Wednesday night, tonight, in particular, was a grind, and I appreciate the grind. I mean, I think I've cranked out 19 of those practice observation videos. I love it. I love the challenge to try to be the best, right? I'm always trying to improve on my craft. So you got Nick Saban's press conference. I physically upload that. And then after that, I cut the practice footage as fast as I can because I know you guys want to see what went down at practice today. Go and add some observations on BamaInsider.com and then get ready for the call-in show and then have the call-in show from 8 to 9. So it's like back to back to back. But I love it. And I'm never going to get tired of, being here covering the Alabama Crimson Tide. And sometimes I'm like, man, I cannot believe I have this opportunity. So I'm always trying to work on my craft. And I hope you guys understand that I'm trying to put on a great production for you guys because you guys follow Alabama. So you guys expectations are high, right? All right. Bombs was saying Kyle's B-roll on point tonight. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hat tip to our producer behind the scenes, Tyler Waldrop, doing a great job producing the show tonight. Doing a fantastic job. I want to talk about the Big 10 trying to dip their toes into the college football playoffs. As you guys saw, everybody, that the Big 10 is going to play football, some sort of a schedule, Frankenstein season, right? What is going to happen? This is my question. What's going to happen as these guys start football and they try to have some sort of say in the college football playoffs? I think they should, first of all, be out. I don't even know if that news is out. I've just been so swamped with work today. I don't think that they should be allowed to participate in the college football playoffs, right? And I know that, let's say Ohio State goes through the gauntlet of the Big Ten or whatever, and they're 8-0. They're going to say that they're national champs. It's going to be the same thing with Central Florida. Remember when they went undefeated? It's going to be a complete mess. I don't think they should be allowed. I think talent-wise, if they had played the same number of games, all they had to do was wait before making that decision and then reverting back to playing. And things would have been fine, in my opinion. And they could have played and they could have been involved in this college football playoffs. But now I think it's just too late. So I think it's great, as Nick Saban said tonight during his press conference, for the players to create value for themselves. What about the players that have opted out? Can you opt back in? Right? I don't know. But I do know that you're going to have Big Ten football. I think it's great for the players, just like Nick Saban said. But I think looking forward, I think it's going to create a mess when we look at, college football playoffs. Call line is open. 205-850-0883 is the number to call in. Let's see. Any update on Kellen Robinson? No. Haven't heard anything on him. Haven't seen him at practice. I mean, you kind of leave that stuff to Nick Saban. Obviously, we can't comment on, if guys have COVID, if guys are injured because of privacy laws. So kind of just leave that up to Nick Saban and the player themselves out of respect. So no update on Kellen Robinson. But I do have a good update for you. I do have a good update in the fact that Alex Leatherwood was at practice today. So back at practice, I know a lot of people are wondering what the situation was on Alex Leatherwood. He's back at practice. Told you, rest assured that he would be back. And very important as, the Crimson Tide have one of the best tackles in the entire country back. I mean, I think the tackle position going to be so important for Alabama's overall game as you have Alex Leatherwood, you have Evan Neal. Those guys are going to play a vital role. I'm really excited to see Evan Neal in that tackle position because I think, last year he played every single game at guard, which is just amazing. 6'7", 360 pounds. Now he's slimmed down to a 6'7", 350 pounds and looks great. So I think we got another caller on the line in just a second. We'll bring him in 1 minute. And I think we have a couple other questions. Really intrigued by this team's improvement in speed and conditioning with Dr. Ray and Coach Blue. I'm excited to see the effect with their addition. Yeah, absolutely. I think Dr. Matt Ray and David Blue have done a tremendous job with these guys. I mean, I've seen it just overall from, kind of just like these guys are looking ripped. These guys are looking shredded. I was checking out, some photos that Alabama sent in today. DJ Dell, my goodness, looks yoked. LeBron Ray, yoked. And I think with Dr. Matt Ray, I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, I mean, he's like the scientific madman, right? He's going to get Jalen Waddle faster. He's going to get Najee Harris faster. And that really blows my mind. I mean, can you get Jalen Waddle faster? Right? It's like really excited to to see those guys in action. All right, we got Derman calling in from Virginia. Derman,
Yes,
what's
sir.
up,
How
man?
you doing today?
Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. From Virginia, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Your show. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, but I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. But I had a quick question. I was seeing on the news where LSU kind of had the COVID, and they said most of the team had it. So my question was, will they be able to play next week? And if not, how would they make that game up to get 10 games there?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, just how specific teams take on these situations moving forward. As Nick Saban said today, Alabama is now testing their players every single day. That's got to be rough on the players, right? And the coaches and the support staff are doing the same things. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do, because if you look at the schedule, it's kind of crunched. So I think you do have bye weeks. So theoretically, you could push those back. I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen this season? I want to just get through Saturday's game and then kind of see where things stand. I think Missouri today announced that 12 guys are going to be out against Alabama. Nick Saban, he didn't say that they're going to have any particular players out for that game. Maybe we'll find out more next week. But in terms of, I know Tennessee is another program that's dealt with COVID in a large fashion. I think a couple of weeks ago, they had 44 guys out or something like that from contact tracing. It's a mess. Obviously, people know that. How are they going to, decipher which games are canceled, and how are they going to postpone those games? I'm not sure. I think everything this year that you knew about college football is going to change. So I think let's just get to Saturday and go on from there. What else is on your mind, Derman?
So if Missouri have 12 players out, does that take us from a 4-touchdown favorite to a 6-touchdown favorite?
I mean, probably. I mean, I saw the early lines, I think on DraftKings, I think it had it at 24.5, which I don't think is enough. I think Alabama, as you know, historically has started out red hot. Missouri, I just, with the new coach, I just don't think they know what's coming their way. And it's kind of like they might get caught in a buzzsaw. Alabama, I think, is just going to be that good offensively. Now, the defense is where I have all of my questions. If you followed my shows, if you followed our coverage, a lot of the questions are on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary. Nick Saban said that the secondary didn't have their best day during Alabama's last scrimmage. I think that's important. And, Missouri's listening to that. Not sure who's going to be Missouri's quarterback. There's a couple guys vying for that position. But I think if Alabama can take control of the football, run the football effectively with Najee Harris, and Mac Jones can do his thing, and Bryce Young can come in when it's his time, I think Alabama wins this opener very handedly.
Okay. Now, I think we're going to be good on the back end, because I think our defensive line is going to have a great pass rush. And anytime you have a good pass rush, that give that secondary enough time to learn and catch on with the scheme. So I think we're going to be okay with that secondary.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. I mean, when you have pass rushers, and by the way, Nick Saban just provided an update on Christian Barmore, who he called one of Alabama's most effective pass rushers coming into the season, said that he's probably going to be probable for this, next game against Missouri. I would assume that he goes forward. I don't know that for a fact, but I just kind of have the feeling that he's going to be ready. But you bring up a great point. I mean, DJ Dale, LeBron Ray, those guys should be able to put some heat on the quarterback. But I'm curious to see if guys like Ben Davis, I think the spotlight when we look on the defense is going to be on a guy like Ben Davis. How effective is he going to be in a game situation where he's starting? I believe this is his first time starting at Alabama. You also have Chris Allen, who's another outside linebacker that's coming back from last year. And those guys are going to be your outside linebackers that are your vets. And then behind them, I would assume it's going to be William Anderson, who everybody is really excited about to see what he can do as a true freshman. But you're right. If they can get effective heat on the quarterback, that's definitely going to make the job on the secondary easier. Anything else, Derman?
I also think Ben Davis is going to shine this year, because he came in as a 5-star. He's playing outside linebacker versus middle, so you take some of that pressure off him. I think he can hold the edge, and I think he's going to put some pressure on that quarterback. So I think he's going to have a good season.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great story, because he's been here for quite some time. He hasn't gone on the field a lot. Seems to be a fan favorite. A lot of people want to, see him be productive this year, myself included. I've seen him the past couple years not get onto the field, transition from inside linebacker to outside linebacker. And I think working with Sal Sinceri, I mean, Sal Sinceri, the outside linebacker coach, isn't going to put these guys out there if he doesn't have faith in them. Sal Sinceri has a very complex, system when it comes to the outside linebackers, when it comes to schematics. And I think that he wouldn't put Ben Davis or Chris Allen at that starting position if he didn't believe in them. I think Ben Davis, he's obviously going to have an opportunity to rise up and do his thing this year. And it starts on week 1. It starts next Saturday. Can this guy get it done? And can he retain that starting position as we go forward?
Yes, sir. And also, I think we'll be able to get all 3 quarterbacks in this game since Missouri is 12 players down. I'm thinking we can get all 3 quarterbacks some game time.
I'm curious to see, the quarterback play, first of all, of Mac Jones. I mean, we've talked about it, and we're probably going to talk about it, until this first game. How can Mac Jones fare in this week 1 opener? He has all the talent in the world around him. I think if he can just settle in, have that confidence, and distribute the football to his receivers, his running backs, I think that he's going to have a very productive opening. We're obviously going to see Bryce Young. People are so excited to see what he can do in a game situation and see what he brings to the table. I mean, we didn't get to see him during A-Day. We haven't got to see too much of him during this fall training camp period. We know, from sources that he's doing a good job, but we haven't physically seen him since his high school days. And then you have Paul Tyson, a guy that, nobody really wants to talk about for whatever reason, but I mean, don't sleep on Paul Tyson. I mean, this guy is right there. He's a great pro style quarterback. He has a big arm. And I think, I think it's going to come down to depth this year. Honestly, who has the most depth? And I think when Paul Tyson gets his opportunity, I think he's going to shine. So let's keep track and see if he gets some playing time. But I think when you talk about the first 2 quarterbacks, Mac Jones and Paul Tyson, those guys, or Mac Jones and Bryce Young, rather, I think those guys are going to really rise up and be productive on Saturday. Anything else, German, while we have on the line?
I think Mac Jones is a sleeper. I know we keep thinking Nigel for Heisman, but I think Mac Jones is going to slide in there and be the sleeper for that Heisman. I was very impressed with him when he came in for Tua last year. I think he did good under pressure other than that Auburn game. And I mean, that was a bang play, on those 2 pick sixes. Other than that, if defense had tightened up, we would have won that game, been in the playoffs. So I think Mac Jones has leadership skills. I think he can get the ball to the playmakers, and we may be surprised. Remember, I told you Mac Jones may slip in and get that Heisman.
I mean, Heisman, I mean, that would be incredible, right? If Mac Jones comes in after Tua and wins the Heisman, right? Over Najee Harris, who's calling it his campaign season. But I'm with you. I think that Mac Jones, what he displays, especially in game situations, is he has moxie, right? I mean, it seems like he's a competitor, and he kind of vibes off the fact that people don't seem to believe in him almost. I mean, I think there's a camp who they do believe in him, and there's a camp that's like, no, this guy can't get the job done. And he kind of thrives off that. I think he's a competitor. I think he can lead this team as far as this team can go. And I'm with you. I think he's going to have a very productive year.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you for having me, and I'll be calling in next week.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good stuff. Dermot from Virginia. I actually had 2 Virginia calls tonight, which is pretty interesting. All right, let's move forward. And okay, the current freshman class gives me 2017 vibes. A lot of guys that can contribute early, except this time more loaded on the defensive side rather than the offensive side. Yeah, I think when I've been doing the freshman spotlights after every single video. And you're right. I mean, the defensive firepower, this freshman group, fantastic. I mean, the outside linebackers, we've been talking about those guys plenty, but how about some guys in the secondary? You have Brian Branch, you have Malachi Moore. I know those 2 guys are fighting for that star position. Brian Malachi Moore looks like he could be a starter, which is really impressive, considering the fact that this guy just came in and you're starting at the star position, right? So I think you're right. I mean, this class, very, very talented, tons of running backs in the room, secondary loaded, those outside linebackers, really a winning class. And then you tie that up with freshman Bryce Young. So very good. We got another caller on the line. We got Randall Williams from California. Randall, how's it going, buddy?
Hey,
Thank you so much.
How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
You bet. Hey, my question is, I don't know. I've never met Mac Jones, but he feels like he thinks he's the man, as he should. How's he going to react with possibly sharing time with a freshman? And do you think he'll be able to deal with it okay? And what were your thoughts? If you know him, his personality, what do you think, man?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for calling in. Are you in Northern California or Southern California?
No, I'm in Southern California, a city called Moreno Valley. It's right near Palm Springs and Riverside, Southern California.
No, I'm always when we get California callers. I used to live in Redondo Beach, so appreciate it. I'll actually answer on the other line if you don't mind. So I'll drop the call, but I'll answer on the other line. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Thanks.
Take it easy, buddy.
You bet.
All right. As Randall was talking about, asking, if Mac Jones, how is he going to fare with Bryce kind of, on his heels, so to speak. I think he's going to fare well. I mean, this is a guy who has a lot of leadership abilities, who knows that, anytime you're at this level, there's always going to be someone good on the roster. He's talked about that before. I mean, when you're a quarterback at Alabama, there's always going to be another quarterback right behind you. And we've seen this time and time again. I think he's going to play the way he should. And I think Bryce is going to come in. I don't know the type of chemistry that those two have in between each other. I wouldn't believe that it would be negative. I mean, those guys are teammates. Well, Bryce is going to get his. I mean, I think Nick Saban knows that he can't wait towards the end of the season to play as freshman like he did with Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's going to play as freshman a lot earlier. Not only from, to get him ready, but I think a lot of this is because of the transfer portal, right? If you don't play early on now in college football, these guys are quick to get to the transfer portal. I have no idea if Bryce Young would ever do that because it's going to be his team sooner than later, but I'm talking about all freshmen. So I think that has kind of changed the game, and that is going to put more heat on these head coaches to get freshmen playing time. I mean, that's just my take, but I think Mac Jones will be fine. And, he knows that Bryce is here and he's going to do just fine. So believe we have another caller coming in, Justin from Massachusetts, also talking about Bryce Young. Hey, what's up, Justin?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on, Justin. Go ahead, buddy. What's up? Good evening.
So I have a quick question. Do you think Bryce Young or Mac Jones will have to fight for the number one position for the 2020 season?
You mean for next season?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting question because think about this, right? Mac Jones, he's a redshirt junior. And the NCAA passed a blanket waiver. So theoretically, Mac Jones could be here 3 more seasons. That'll blow your mind, right? Yeah. He won't. I don't think so. But I think, depending on what happens with Mac Jones and if he has a productive season, clearly he'll exit out. I don't think, he'll be on good graces with Alabama, obviously, but I think it's all being set up to be Bryce's team next year. So in terms of some sort of competition, it would be amazing if Mac Jones did decide to come back. That would be interesting to see, kind of talk about that for next year. But I think after this season, this will probably be the last year of Mac Jones at Alabama.
Okay. Quick, another question.
Go ahead, Justin.
I know last season Nick Saban lost 2 games against Auburn and LSU. Do you think Alabama have a chance of winning the national championship this season?
Yeah, I mean, every single season. I mean, when you look at Alabama's, schedule right here, trying to pull it up, you got Missouri, you got Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Georgia. I mean, those are the first, games on the schedule. I think they're all going to be very challenging. I think that Georgia one is going to be super entertaining. I think there's a lot on the line for both teams early on in the season. Think about this. Theoretically, Alabama and Georgia could potentially meet 3 times this season, right? One during the regular season, another time during the SEC championship. And what happens if both those teams end up making the college football playoffs, right? That would be 3 times Nick Saban has to take on Kirby Smart. And that defense is only going to get better. I think Alabama has all the components to win the national championship, not only this year, but every single year. But a lot's going to fall onto the defense. Can the defense really rise up and do what it needs to do come crunch time? Because there's a lot of good and very talented teams that are out there, that want to take Alabama's, that want to stay above Alabama. I mean, Clemson, I know, who are they playing? Citadel this week. And I don't know if anybody saw them play Wake Forest, but my goodness, Trevor Lawrence looked fantastic. NTN looked fantastic at running back. Clemson's certainly the real deal. I think right now they're the biggest threat. Haven't seen any of the other teams play too much right now, but Alabama has enough, but it's all going to come down to the defense for Alabama. Anything else, Justin?
No, that's all good. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate it.
All right.
That was Justin from Massachusetts. Appreciate it. Thanks for the super chats tonight, fam. I appreciate it. Guys took care of Bone last night. We got to keep the big dog fed. So super chats go a long way, but you could also hit the thumbs up. That means a lot. And, I'm the guy behind the scenes. I do the videos that, the practice videos, the Nick Saban press conferences. So as we inch closer to 50,000 subscribers, it really means a great deal that you guys will give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe, and get ready for next week, because we got some fantastic stuff coming your way right here on BamaInsider.com. And we got a question coming in. Any information on the potential role of junior college transfer Ronald Williams? I actually haven't heard too much about Ronald Williams. Don't take that as a negative. I think that, there's a lot of competition. I knew coming in, Alabama has their corners. They have Josh Jobe. They have Patrick Surtain. I think a lot of, the position that was really open was the star position, but it looks like that's been taken by Malachi Moore. From what I gather, Ronald Williams probably going to be working with the twos. I think he could get on the field. I know, I think in the first scrimmage, or it was kind of one on those Saturday practices that he had a pick six. You're talking about Brian Branch and Malachi Moore, or those guys are certainly doing a great job. And Josh Jobe, is a guy to, I think when Josh Jobe, he's kind of a guy that we're also going to have the spotlight on, right? Because last year he started against Duke and then kind of floated off. Whereas now, this will be a big opportunity for him to get on the field and really showcase what he can do at the corner position. Very vital for that he has a big year. I believe we're going to have another call coming in here in just a second. Call online, update your phone book, please. 205-850-0883 is the call online number. And, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you guys are having, a good experience on the show. I know a lot of people, some people can't get to the show because of the storm in Southern Alabama. Thoughts and prayers out there with you guys. And I know that storm was, it was unbelievable. We kind of got the tail end of the storm today, just a little bit here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I would assume that more rain comes our way. Kind of walk you through next Monday and kind of prep you for how the game week coverage is going to work. So tomorrow, Alabama will have player interviews. I know you guys check those out right here on our YouTube channel. They'll also have the 20th practice of fall training camp. And then next week, Nick Saban will have his opening press conference for Missouri. That'll be at 12 p.m. Central Time, opening that first week of SEC play. And then following that, you will get Nick Saban a couple more times on Wednesday. And then we got something special for you guys coming later on the week. And so stay tuned on that. But big week of coverage coming your way on BamaInsider.com. All right, we got David from Louisiana. David, are you there? Hey, David.
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead, buddy. You're on the show.
Yeah, I got one of my main questions is how much of an impact do you think Surtain will be this year? Last year he did pretty good. Do you think he'll step up a lot more this year, knowing that this is the year that he will be eligible for the NFL draft, and the scouts will be looking at him? And also want to say that we're praying for y'all down there in Alabama. Y'all continue to pray for the people down in southwest Louisiana from Hurricane Laura. My hometown down there got completely leveled, and I've been going down there every weekend trying to bring supplies and help them out down there. But, yeah, that's my main question is how well do you think Surtain will do this year?
Yeah, well,
how big of an impact will it be?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for calling, David. I know you're a frequent caller, so make sure to update the phone book because I did change the call line number. I know you're a frequent guest, so I'm glad you're doing well and staying safe. Prayers out to the people in Louisiana that have also been affected, just like the people in the great state of Alabama and in Florida as well. I mean, the hurricanes, it's It's very serious. Regarding Patrick Surtain, I think that Patrick Surtain is going to have a fantastic year. As you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His dad played in the league. I think it's soon enough we'll be seeing him on Sundays. He's a very special and very dynamic corner because I think of his length. He's got a very long wingspan. I think he's 6'2" or 6'3", and I think he's Alabama's best corner, 100%. I think you saw him a lot last year in the star position. This year, you're going to see him at the corner position where I think he's going to excel. He's going to be on the best wide receivers that Alabama faces weekly. And that's why I was talking about Josh Jobe earlier, because Josh Jobe has to be a guy, that can really hold it down on the other side of the corner. And then you got the freshman at the star position, and you got Jordan Battle at safety and Daniel Wright. And I like those safeties, but I think Patrick Surtain is going to have a great year in 2020. What else you got, David?
I seen a video where they had asked, I forgot who it was, about the cross training that they're doing, where they're playing offense and defense, defensive guy playing receiver, someone like Surtain or whatever, do you think that Saban would possibly use some of his DBs or whatever offensively, just to throw a team like maybe Georgia off or LSU off, someone that we're going to have more competition against, maybe A&M or someone like that?
The short answer is no. I think that guys could transition to the, one side or another, depending, but I think Alabama has too much firepower on offense, to really call a guy from this, from the defense over. I think in the past, Saban does it as an experimental phase. For example, you got to look at a player like Cameron Latou, who we talked about earlier. Started out as an outside linebacker, now is a tight end with Alabama. And Cameron Latou is super, super athletic. And that didn't turn out as just an experiment. I mean, now he's on the offensive side of the ball. We've seen guys in the past kind of cross over. I think Patrick Surtain could, maybe he'd be a good wide receiver. I have no idea. But I think when you have Smitty, Jalen Waddle, and, John Mechie, I think those guys are going to be just fine. How about this, though? How about coming out with Jalen Waddle in the Wildcat package? I mean, I think that would freak out everybody, right? How about
that would be awesome.
Yeah, you have Jalen Waddle, you have Najee Harris, you have Brian Robinson back there in that Wildcat package, and you have I don't know, you maybe even put at the wide receiver, you put Slade Bolden. How about that package?
Oh yeah, Slade Bolden. He's from Louisiana, and I never got to see him play, but my cousin lived in a town that he lived, played at, and he said, he was amazing, really good athlete. Too bad he didn't go to LSU. I said, well, that's just the way it works for Alabama. We pull players from Louisiana over there to Alabama, but that would be an awesome thing to see. To see Waddle as in a Wildcat formation or something like that. But anyways, like I said, brother, we're going to continue to pray for y'all, and y'all be safe and roll tide.
All right, take it easy, buddy. Thank you so much, David. Stay safe.
Bye-bye. You too.
That was David in Louisiana talking about Patrick Surtain. Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Randall. Appreciate the super chat. We tried our best to give a good product every single time we step on. Here's an updated Touchdown and Loyalty Club. You can hit the join button at the bottom of this video to be a loyalty member of BamaInsider.com. Here's a updated super chat Hall of Honor. These are all our fans that contribute on a weekly basis, daily basis. We got tons of support. So thank you very much for everybody that continues to show support right here on BamaInsider.com. You guys make up the show, and we appreciate you guys being here with us right here on BamaInsider.com. Take a couple more calls. 205-850-0883 is the call-in line number. Big week next week as Alabama takes on Missouri and the opener SEC. So tons of coverage coming your way on BamaInsider.com. Again, thank you so much, Randall, for the super chat. We really appreciate it. And like I said earlier, prayers to everybody that is has been affected by Hurricane Sally or the hurricane previous to that, or any of these hurricanes. Certainly, nothing to it's dangerous, and I get it. I mean, the photos coming in are just, devastating. So how about this from Lewis? He's saying Charlie Strong should be on the sidelines. Charlie Strong, fantastic. I see him cruising around Tuscaloosa and looks like a man on a mission. It's unbelievable that he has Now he's an analyst, right? I mean, think about all of Alabama's analysts. It's really unbelievable to see all these guys and what they can contribute in the defensive room for Alabama. Got a let's see. Okay, looks like we got a couple calls coming in, and take those in just a second after Tyler, who's in the back end, is screening some calls. I'm going to take one more quick commercial break, and then we'll take one more call, two more calls right here on BamaInsider.com. So let me get to that commercial break, and I'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. This is how to get free 30 days on BamaInsider.com. First thing you got to do, go to BamaInsider.com and click on the top banner. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create an account, email, username, password. The second thing you're going to do is confirm your subscription. Make sure that the promo code is entered right here. It says promo successful, roll tide. The third thing you're going to do is enter your credit card information. It has to be valid, and don't worry, you're going to get that 30 days free. As you can see, once you've added a credit card, you're going to get the promo code. As you can see right here, it says $0. After that, you got to make sure and cancel within that 30 days if you don't want to be charged that $9.95. But hopefully, you're happy with all the coverage on BamaInsider.com, so you won't need to cancel. Once you're a premium subscriber of BamaInsider.com, you can access Andrew Bones' recruiting board. You can jump on the Talk of Champions message board and have a great time with thousands of Alabama Crimson Tide football fans. We hope to earn your business at BamaInsider.com. All right. Thank you so much for everybody that has been joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys watching and subscribing to our channel right here on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate it. We'll be coming to you next time tomorrow as Alabama will hold their 20th practice of fall training camp. Be sure and check out all our coverage on BamaInsider.com, from the videos from Nick Saban to the practice highlights. Put a lot of love into those, and I hope you guys are enjoying those videos as they roll out. It's almost the season. It's almost week one, and we'll get you covered right here at BamaInsider.com. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a blessed rest of your evening, a blessed rest of your week. Prayers, thoughts and prayers out to our friends in Southern Alabama, Louisiana, everyone affected in Florida as well. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. We'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, and we'll catch you soon back at BamaInsider.com.